Hi guys, I am happy to introduce to you, well, you may have already seen some of his posts in our episode 3 here of a deeper dive of the Fit Over 50 folks. And I was interested in, Andy kind of bailed me out from, I did a post about how important it was the older you get to, if you haven't started a fitness lifestyle and specifically strength training, how important it was to do that. I had referenced a study, and a gentleman responded to me that it was an AI picture that I used, and I had no idea. I'm not very tech savvy, as everyone learned. And so the gentleman was kind enough to, on request, tell me some of the things looked for AI pictures. And so, and Andy, I don't remember whether you responded to that post or I saw another post that you had done previous to that recently, but I saw Andy's picture and clearly he was an actual human being and looked great. And so I asked him if I could sub the picture of the real Andy for this AI picture that I had inadvertently used.
Yeah.
And anyway, the gentleman who told me about the AI, he told me a few things to look for and how to do composition and everything, but he said, look, this guy's got too many teeth. And I realized the AI person had shark teeth, tons of
Oh yeah.
shark
Oh, I
teeth.
remember. Okay, I do remember that. That was kind of amusing
So,
because I
so yeah,
thought,
so I was very
oh, I
happy.
couldn't understand. I felt like I was a better example because that guy
Right.
just looked weird.
Yeah. A live human's
Yeah,
always a better example.
yeah,
And so Andy was kind enough to let me sub in his picture
yeah,
instead. And then
yeah.
it also got me interested as I'm doing this series.
Mhm, mhm.
I really want to profile folks who have different perspectives to share. And Andy is late 70s, I believe. Yes, Andy?
78.
78. And I'm just going to start right off with some questions that I think that you might want to ask him if you were lucky enough to have Andy in your front room or your living room for a few minutes. Okay, so Andy, first of all, thank you for being with us. I appreciate that. I appreciate you representing I think a real inspiring example that many of us aspire to and are determined to shoot for. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what got you interested in a fitness lifestyle?
Okay, well, first of all, my career was a teacher. I taught gifted language arts and I was a guidance counselor for 38 years. When you do that type of job, you can become very active in your job. So fitness becomes secondary. And I was fairly fit in my 20s and 30s, not too bad in my 40s. But by the time I reached 50, I was doing all these extra jobs after school. I would be in charge of the concession stand. And when you're there late at night, so what do? You have hot dogs, candy bars,
Sure.
sugar sweets, all
Right.
that kind of stuff. And it was not going very well because within 5 years, I had gone from about 170 to 205 pounds. Okay. So you have to understand, I'm not a tall guy. I'm only 5 feet 5 inches. So 205 pounds on a short frame does not look very attractive.
Sure.
And so I still went with it. And I thought, well, I'm old. I just have to be satisfied with that. And then I started getting health problems. And the health problems were taking over. And I was having some issues with my heart. I was having osteoarthritis. I was having a fatty liver. I was pre diabetic. I had osteopenia.
Mhm.
And I was tired all the time.
Of course,
So things, I was set for disaster. Uh, I was going to retire, and I did retire in about 2002. My wife was going to retire a few years later. And I'm looking at retirement as a place where I was just going to wither away and die. And my wife decided she was also a teacher, and she got a job at Illinois State University working in the education department. And that caused us to move to Bloomington. Now, we lived in a small town, so there weren't a lot of gyms available.
sure.
Uh, there were occasionally a gym here and there, but I didn't exercise even after retired. I worked part time and I just got bigger. My last pictures that I have shown on many of the fitness sites that I belong to show me as being pretty rotund, very unhealthy looking, and sad because I just was not very happy with who I was.
Right, of course.
And here we are. We moved to Bloomington. We buy a brand new home, and they're not cheap in Bloomington. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even going to live to enjoy this, you know? And I happened to move a month earlier than my wife did because she was finishing her career. And when I did that, I was in the house setting it up and working on getting the landscaping, all that kind of stuff. And I happened to take a shower, and I got out of the shower and went past the mirror, and I looked at myself and I said, wow, you are a slob. I mean, you're just fat, out of shape. No wonder you feel bad. And called my wife up and I said, you know, my birthday's coming up. Do you care if I join a gym? So I did. The very next day. I went to a little gym called Charter Fitness, just a small thing because I didn't want to be seen by people because I'm
Sure.
so out of shape. And I joined it. And the first thing I did, I said, well, I have to tackle my weight. So I spent an hour a day doing treadmill, that type of thing, very vigorously.
Right.
And I did that 7 days a week. Plus, I was also working on the house, getting it ready, working on landscaping. So I was doing all kinds of things that you have to be fit for,
Sure.
but I wasn't quite fit. And so I worked on it and I dropped about 25 or 30 pounds
Wow, that's great.
just doing that and also dieting. Uh,
Sure.
my dieting was not a very glamorous one. I did, I think they were called smart ones, little TV
Oh,
dinners
yeah.
and a salad.
Sure.
So I dropped. I was not eating healthy by any
Right,
means,
right. Well,
but
let
I
me
did drop
just,
a lot of
may I,
weight.
may I interrupt for just a moment?
Yeah,
Because that comes up sometimes with some of my clients or some
mm,
of the readers
yeah,
for
yeah,
some of the articles that I've written for. It's important to understand that the ideal way to lose weight for somebody who wants to become more fit and more athletic is to, if they have to create, or if they're trying to lose weight, to create a 250 to 500 calorie daily deficit, roughly, different
mm,
ranges for different body types. But we also want to keep the nutrient density
yeah, exactly.
as robust as possible. And that means, and I define that in very specific terms, concentration of vitamins, minerals, protein grams, and fiber for a given volume of food or calorie count. Now, those I'm don't want to call out smart ones in particular, but there's a whole industry
Yeah,
built on diet food where they just pull some of the sodium, the sugar, and the fat out and give you smaller portion sizes,
yeah,
and you get there. It is marginally healthier, and you're eating less food, and it's not rocket science. The math is there, so you will lose weight over time.
yeah,
I'm guessing that you're going to share with us how you learned to kind of retool that in a way that
yeah.
leaned more in the
Well,
direction of nutrient density. Yeah.
okay. Well, what happened was that initially I did lose weight. I lost 25 or
Sure.
30 pounds.
Right.
So I was healthy, not healthy enough, but I was trim enough that I could do more things. I had
Right.
more flexibility, more
Sure.
mobility. So obviously I didn't know what I was doing with weights. And I, there were guys in the particular gym. They said, "Oh, come over here. We'll show you how to use some weights." So they showed me a few things,
Okay.
and I kind of enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
And it
Great.
was a nice supplement. Okay, so here I am. I'm starting to do weights. I'm still doing the cardio, but I'm not eating right. So I did consult with some people to get a better idea of how I should balance my food and my intake because I did have a, you basically have to have enough calories to support what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In addition to that, I really didn't have a knowledge of really how to use weights properly
Sure.
or to do weightlifting or even floor exercises properly. So I did another thing. I told my wife, I said, do you care if I get a personal trainer? And she said, go ahead. And she said, how much are they? Well, at the time they were having a special, and you
Okay.
were not going to believe this, $26 an hour
Well,
for a
that's a
personal
great
trainer.
deal for
And
a qualified trainer.
he
Yeah.
had a yeah, he had a master's in kinesiology
Oh, great.
and all kinds of things. He had just graduated, and he was looking for someone for a test case.
Oh,
And I was the
terrific.
perfect person.
Sounds like
And
the
so,
timing was great.
yeah, exactly. So I did hire him, and I ended up doing 105 sessions with him. And
Wow.
and so there was a lot of training there. He
Sure.
was excellent. He pushed me to the limit because he had a friend who also had a client, and it was like there was a competition between
Oh,
two
okay.
clients. So he helped me with diet. He helped me with exercises and just the whole idea of getting your body back in shape.
That's great.
Within 9 months of starting that, I had done the 105 sessions. So I did a lot of sessions with him. I
Sure.
also did additional ones on my own
Okay.
because I got so into it and I loved it. I just spent the time at the gym. And before I knew it, I think I posted on some of the fitness sites what I looked like after 9 months. I had radically changed. I went from 205 to about 175 pounds, and I actually had biceps, I had pecs, I
Yeah.
had even abs forming, and I
Yeah,
was
they're all under there waiting to be discovered. That's true.
right. So I was looking pretty decent. So uh, then he had to leave, and people said, "Well, that's it for you. You're done."
No,
And I said to myself, "No, I'm just beginning." And
great.
so
Good for you.
yeah, so that's where my story probably really begins. That was at age 64. So
Got
I
it.
started basically at 63 and a half, and about 64 and a half, I had to go on to my own.
Sure.
And I spent 6 days a week, 2 hours a day minimum at the
Wow.
gym and
Wow.
doing weightlifting and some cardio. Some days I would spend 3 hours. Some days I would go to the gym twice. Now you have to understand I'm retired, so I can
Impressive.
afford to do that. So
Yeah,
I did not need another job or anything to
sure.
support myself. So I had that particular advantage. And it was amazing. At the time we moved to Bloomington, I did consult with the doctor, and I was his patient. And I did see him quite a bit at the beginning because I was having some health issues,
Okay.
and he kind of took care of those. But
Sure.
he noticed how I was radically changing.
I bet.
And he said, whatever you're doing is you're right on target. He
Oh,
said,
that's
now
great.
your blood tests are correct. They're all where they should be. Your osteopenia has gone because when you work out, that disappears.
Right.
Your fatty liver has gone. Your pre-diabetic condition is no longer there.
Oh, that's
Uh,
so great.
your osteoarthritis is not bothering you anymore,
Right.
even though if you look at my fingers, you can see they're kind of crooked.
Right, right.
but,
But once you've
but,
got the
but,
muscle to
but they
support the
don't hurt.
joint,
Yeah,
right,
but they don't hurt.
right.
And my carotids, which were really blocked, were starting to open up again. And he was getting great pulses. So he said, whatever you're doing the right thing. And
Fantastic.
since that moment, and that was probably 8 months after I started going to him as a doctor, I then started going to him only every 6 months. And I have become his favorite patient and the person he uses as the example of
Yeah.
how exercise can change your life.
Right. So
So,
does he have a cardboard, a life size cardboard cutout of you in the
you know,
office?
I think he would like to. He actually is going to be in the video, the documentary on my
Right.
life, or my journey, I should say, into fitness. So it's kind of funny because he often likes to take pictures with me, shoulder
Sure.
to shoulder,
Yeah. That's
showing that
like that's like
this
when you
is,
hang out at the
yeah,
Sands
yeah,
in Vegas
yeah,
and you can get a
yeah.
picture with Frank Sinatra, right?
Yes, sort of like a movie star of
Right.
sorts. But he really appreciates what I've done because he uses me as an example.
Right.
And as I said, my health totally turned around. So as that was happening, that reinforced being consistent because I saw results.
Right.
And
Right.
people would start to notice me at the gym and they say, "What are you doing? You look
Sure.
incredible. You have changed so much."
Right.
Because they saw me when I was fat. Now I did change because some gyms close and you get transferred to other ones and so forth. I
Right.
did change gyms about 3 times. I'm currently at a place called Carl Fitness in Bloomington. It's an excellent place, and they're doing a very nice job of providing the background and all the things I need to do. So I have been very consistent now for over 14 years,
That's great.
5 days a week to 6 days a week, and no less than 2 hours a day. So consistency has been a very key factor.
I can see that.
Plus, my trainer showed me how to use the things. I have taken a lot of his routines, reevaluated them,
Sure.
added them to things I've found on the internet, talked to other trainers, and they've given me free information of how to put it all together.
Great.
So I basically write my own programs now. Now, as far as diet is concerned, I switched to intermittent fasting,
Okay.
and I do think that really works very, very well. Uh, I basically have get up at maybe 8 or 8:30 with a light breakfast of some sort, nothing special, but I have a nice balanced meal. I try to make sure I have at least adequate proteins. I try to make sure the carbs are at a reasonable level. I still think you need some carbs.
Definitely.
I try to make sure that the fats are low because that's kind of important. But I kind of have a more balanced menu in my life with that one meal. And then right before the 8 hours is up, because I basically eat within an 8 hour window.
Wow.
I take that time to have a light snack for my third meal. It might be a salad. It might be just some vegetables mixed up. It could be uh, a dessert of some sort, but it's nothing that is really out of line, but a much more balanced type of meal,
Great.
for the three together.
Sure.
So, yes, you do have to have some concern about your diet because
Yeah.
I have discovered, especially in this last 2 months, I was 175 2 months ago. I'm about 158 now.
Wow.
I have, so I've lost some weight because I've really adhered
Sure.
more closely to eating properly and better.
Andrew, may I just interject here for a
Yeah,
second? We
sure.
need to wrap up here. I don't want to take too
Mm,
much of your time, but I do
mm,
want to ask about
yeah.
something you just mentioned. That recent weight loss, did you feel like you had lost any strength, volume, or load with the
No,
resistance training?
actually, quite the opposite. I've actually stepped up my exercises. Like I do pretty excessive reps. Like I do ab crunches against the wall. I
Okay.
started out doing 100 or 200 at a time.
Wow.
I'm up to 600 now.
That's amazing. So,
Uh,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to make
yeah,
sure that we leave the folks with, because to me, this
yeah,
is sort of the high point of your
yeah,
story and the most recent portion of it, which
yeah,
is in fitness circles. And I can tell you, even in academia, because I
yeah,
just finished my
yeah,
master's program less than a year ago. And it's been a topic that has circulated in this
yeah,
and other fitness
yeah,
50 groups that I've been part of. This idea that it's almost a binary thing that you cannot, some people think, you cannot build any muscle, any significant muscle volume past a certain age, or that the combination of trying to build muscle and lose body fat becomes increasingly difficult the older you get. And based on what you've shared with us so far, I'm
yeah.
very happy to say you are a living example of it's about the consistency, about the level of dedication, and about figuring out the right formula for you as an individual. Would you say that's correct?
I would say that's exactly right on point. Uh,
Great.
I've had very good success. I post on like other fitness groups,
Good.
50 plus fitness for men is one of my favorites, dad bod transformation.
Okay.
And if you look there, you'll see better pictures of me because I
Okay.
usually show more of my body, my
Yeah,
chest,
sure.
my
Yeah,
arm. I have total pictures, maybe just in my gym shorts, but you see the whole total picture.
yeah.
And I actually have achieved a lot because I've always increased my weights. I do around 600 pounds on leg presses.
Wow.
I do chest presses up to 140, dips to 190 or 200. I
Amazing.
do what pec flies. I only do 20 pounds on a side, so I'm looking for definition and help
Sure.
with my delts. And I do like 200 of those uh,
Wow. So
almost all the
I'm
time.
sorry. I don't want to interrupt. I just want to I want to
Okay.
be,
Yeah, yeah,
respectful
yeah,
of
yeah,
the time for the people who
yeah, yeah,
may want to kind of
yeah,
take what you've shared so far and think about how they can make those adjustments and just really to their programs. And if they can't spend the kind of time that you spend, to understand that the consistency and finding the right program for yourself, you may have to be a little bit more patient, a little bit
yeah,
more resolute, but you will get
yeah.
further along with every improvement you make, regardless of
Well,
your age.
it took me a while to get to where I am. So I've been doing it 14 or 15 years. And I've looked over, I keep a detailed record of everything I have done. And you can see that I've added reps, added weights consistently.
Right.
So you have to keep pushing yourself a little bit.
Right.
You can achieve a lot in just 3 times a week, to be
Yeah.
quite honest, or even 40 minutes each time.
Yeah.
I do it excessively because I found it
Love
as
it.
my happy place.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all that
Yeah.
you shared with us, and it's very obvious just in your
Yeah.
energy and your carriage and your muscle tone and your clarity when you talk about your story that it really is the combination of healthy eating and regular, consistent, challenging training. It is the fountain of youth. So I appreciate you spending this time with us and sharing your story, and keep pumping.
Okay, when I get the videos and those, I'll send them to you, and
That
then you
sounds
can
great.
also use it. Thank you.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
everything, Andy.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a
All
good
right.
day.